Hi, it is Deb with Birth Before and After with another episode of Doula After Dark. Tonight, we're going to talk about something that is incredibly common and also incredibly misunderstood, and that is postpartum anxiety. We're not talking about postpartum depression today. We're talking about postpartum anxiety. And here's the thing, a lot of people are experiencing postpartum anxiety and don't realize that's what it is because it's not what you think it is. It doesn't always look like panic attacks. It is not always super dramatic. It can look like you are being extra responsible, that you're super high functioning, that you're extra prepared, that you're just staying on top of absolutely everything. If you've ever thought, I'm just being careful, I just like to be really, really prepared. I'm just wired this way. Why don't you stay with me tonight? Because postpartum anxiety doesn't always look like you think it would. And you are not broken. I will say that over and over again. You are not broken. So, what is postpartum anxiety really? Postpartum anxiety is just that your nervous system is staying in alert mode rather than shutting down when it's time to shut down. So, after you've had your baby, your brain is wired to protect. Your awareness increases, your vigilance increases, your body goes into hyper monitoring. That's all the biological and normal stuff. When anxiety becomes a problem is when your brain can't turn that alarm down. You can't rest even when the baby's resting. You have to watch the monitor, you have to check on the baby. Um, your thoughts just don't stop, they just race and race and race. Here's a big one. You feel like something bad is about to happen, even when there's absolutely no evidence. That's the one that I personally felt when I had postpartum anxiety. Again, this is not weakness. So, postpartum anxiety kind of hides in plain sight. What postpartum anxiety can look like, the parts that we don't really hear about, the parts that we don't really talk about. Intrusive thoughts. If you imagine something bad is going to happen, like you're going to drop the baby. I had a client that was not able to carry her baby up or down stairs because she knew that she would fall and crush the baby if she were on the stairs. A car accident. You think that anytime you're going to drive, that a car accident will happen. You may think that a serious illness is going to happen. Either you, your partner, your baby gets very, very ill, potentially dies. One that I hear most common is that you're afraid that the baby's going to stop breathing. So these are the thoughts that scare you, but you have them anyway. You can't necessarily shut them off. Other things. I can't sleep even though I'm exhausted. I always talk about sleep. You're tired, you lay down, and your brain immediately kicks on. What if the baby stops breathing? Is the swaddle too tight? Is the swaddle too loose? Did I forget to take something out of the crib? Is a blanket going to suddenly fall in the crib on the baby? Did I send the text? Did I prepare this item that I was supposed to do? Should I Google what could be a little rash on my arm? You are absolutely exhausted. Your brain just spins and spins and spins. Also, constant checking. You watch the monitor almost constantly. You need to, even though you're watching the monitor constantly, you have to go in, look at the baby, check the baby, potentially put your hand on the baby's chest to make sure that the baby's still breathing. Then, of course, we accidentally wake the baby up and we start the whole cycle over again. If you have to replay in your brain every single feeding, thinking, oh my gosh, I did this wrong, I did that wrong, and it just goes on and on in your head. If you're tracking every second of the day, all the diapers, every drop of milk that the baby has, every single minute of the day, that's when postpartum anxiety starts to show. Now, when I talk about tracking, I'm not talking about the standard tracking that doulas, pediatricians, people tell new parents to do, where it's just kind of a routine. What I'm talking about is when it starts to feel compulsive. That's when tracking can be a bad thing. Irritability. It is shocking that irritability is a sign of anxiety. We think of anxiety that it would avoid any kind of irritability. Absolutely not. It amplifies it. So, things that you see or you feel, you are suddenly snapping at your partner for things that wouldn't normally warrant you snapping at them. You feel very overstimulated. You are unable to tolerate noises that are pretty standard. You experience road rage, especially if that is not something that you feel before, and that kicks in. You just want everything and everyone around you to just stop. That is irritability coming in. I see it a lot with new families. Um, I remember one time I could hear my clients having a loud discussion, and then I heard a big thump, and she did tell me what happened. She threw a water bottle across the room because her husband didn't give her the water that she wanted in the bottle that she wanted. Doesn't mean that you're mean. It's just that your system is overloaded. If you have worst case scenario thinking, it's where your brain immediately jumps to something being catastrophic. So that's one of the things that I dealt with. If my baby coughed, I automatically assumed it was RSV or something horrible, and that I was going to have to rush my baby to the hospital. If my partner was late, I assumed they were in a car crash. If I felt a little off, I assumed that something was really wrong, that I was going to be sick, that I was not going to be able to care for my baby anymore. It's those fast, automatic, relentless thoughts that turn into the absolute worst case scenario. When you feel absolutely responsible for everything, if something goes wrong, you're going to blame it on yourself. If the baby cries, you believe that you missed something or you did something wrong. If your partner doesn't help the right way, you feel the need to take over. You kind of carry this mental load and you believe that if any little thing drops, every single thing will collapse. I see that right way thing happen a lot with clients where the partner will try to calm the baby and can't immediately calm the baby in the exact manner that you calm the baby. So you feel like you need to take over when they just need the opportunity to learn their own skills. Every single person is going to soothe and comfort babies differently. And so you need to give your partners the ability, the time to learn their own soothing techniques. It is not going to be the same. They can't do the exact same things that you do. So this is just anxiety disguised as you being competent. What postpartum anxiety is not. It is not that you are ungrateful for your baby or the help around you. It's not that you don't love your baby. It's not that you're failing. It's not that you're weak. It's not that you're dramatic. I hear that over and over again. Oh, you're just being dramatic. No, these are real feelings that you're experiencing. You are not just being dramatic. You are absolutely not a bad parent. It just means that your nervous system is trying really hard to protect something very important to you, and it overshoots those feelings. So let's really dig in. There is a difference between postpartum anxiety and postpartum psychosis. Postpartum psychosis is really rare. What postpartum anxiety looks like, it's those intrusive thoughts, the things that upset you, the things that scare you, the things that just feel unwanted, that are just kind of happening. Like I talked about the mom and the stroller. Psychosis is where those things feel real. They feel truly like they are happening now. They can actually even include hallucinations and delusional beliefs. If the thoughts feel uncontrollable, commanding, or disconnected from reality, that's when we begin to get into immediate support territory. If those things are happening, please do reach out for support. Most postpartum anxiety is not that. It's just the loud, unwanted worry that we feel. Why does this make so much sense? Well, let's be honest. You grew a human. You gave birth. You lost sleep. You had a massive hormonal shift when the baby was born. You took on 24/7 responsibility. You may have never had 24/7 responsibility before. You could have experienced trauma in one of those places. Trauma happens during birth sometimes. Of course, your nervous system is alert while your body recovers, your brain is recalibrating, and your identity is shifting into parent mode now. Then we add sleep deprivation, which increases anxiety, and then you have the perfect storm. It's not random. It does make sense that it happens. I'll say it again. You are not broken. So, what are gentle ways that you can turn this volume down on the anxiety? We can't fix everything tonight. What we can do is start to lower the intensity by 5% or even 2% every day. That's it. That's all we're going to shoot for. So there are small things that you can do that will help. First, we're going to talk about sleep. Always start with sleep. If you and your partner can take shifts on who sleeps when, that is going to be a huge game changer. If you can get 3 or 4 hours of sleep in a row, that can absolutely change your existence. How it works is a lot of times I have one partner that is the night owl, one partner is the I get up early partner. So I have the night owl stay awake or do their part from 10 p.m. to 2 or 3 a.m. That's when they're normally awake anyway. Then we switch off. That partner goes to sleep. The other partner then takes over either the monitor or being with the baby, whatever case that might be. So then they take over from 2 or 3 a.m. until morning. This helps your brain regulate when you can get that stretch of sleep. Makes a huge difference. Just saying things out loud is going to help. Instead of, oh my gosh, that bad thing is going to happen, let's just try to say, my brain is trying to protect my baby right now. So we're kind of just setting that aside and telling ourselves that it's really just our brain trying to protect us. Thanks so much for trying to protect me. And we're going to reduce those thoughts. Naming the issue reduces its power. Here's another big one. Let's reduce doom scrolling. We can get in this Google everything, check Chat GPT for everything, and those things are not neutral. It can absolutely escalate your feelings. We need body regulation before we can start looking at logic. What can we do to help regulate your body? You can take a warm shower, take a warm bath, use a weighted blanket. Sometimes just that extra weight on your nervous system can help relieve some of the feelings. Doing slow breathing, where we breathe in through our nose, out through our mouth. Those things are going to help your nervous system slow down. You can't control and slow down your thoughts until we slow down your nervous system. If those things aren't helping, look into potentially having some help, whether that be a postpartum doula or reaching out to a therapist. Therapists can give you loads of tools to help reduce anxiety. Then we can look at getting screened for postpartum anxiety. You can talk to your OB, you can talk to a care provider, and they can do a screening for you. Of course, we have to look at the potential of medication. Taking medication is not bad. It can absolutely positively be life changing for people. I once had the client that wasn't able to walk up and down their stairs with the baby, and she did eventually, through a lot of encouragement by me, choose to take medication. And it made a huge difference for her. Getting this support is not failure. You are not broken. This is just how your body is compensating right now. If any part of this talk felt familiar tonight, I want you to hear me clearly. You are not broken. You are not failing, and you are not alone in these feelings. Postpartum anxiety is common. It's treatable. It does not last forever, and you deserve support. Please don't feel like you have to white knuckle through early parenthood. Your brain is trying to protect something very, very precious and important, and you deserve to feel safe too. This is Deb with Doula After Dark, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me.